Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 312 for September 5th, 2023. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, Coach Prime and his Colorado Buffaloes shock the college football world. A bar in Milwaukee will pay your bar tab if Rodgers and the Jets lose. And the Dallas Cowboys are number one again, according to Forbes Magazine's latest list of the most valuable NFL franchises. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son Adam.
Hi, man. Oh
How you doing?
man, it feels weird being, in the man cave. I mean,
Yeah, you got that new apartment.
a new place. We've definitely already done a recording over the internet for something else, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, hi. It's weird being face to face with you.
We come to you each week from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. We also have timestamps down in the descriptions of both the podcast and the YouTube video, so you can go right to the topics that you really want to listen to. You can also find our podcast in its full audio form on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@theworldoffootball, that's the handle, as well as other selected videos that we've got up there, like last week's episode of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast. It was episode 4, and Kyle and Adam were talking about the last preseason game between the Lions and the Carolina Panthers.
Yep, we talked about that, roster cuts, all that stuff, and we got another one coming this week.
Yep.
We got a lot of videos this week leading up to the NFL season. We got we're going to do a Lions-Chiefs preview over on Just Lying Around. That should be up Wednesday. Also, tomorrow you're going to see on Wednesday, that is the 6th, at some point during the day, we'll get our weekly NFL picks video up. So it'll be that time of year again, everybody.
Yes.
And we will also have a history lesson up tomorrow, which will not be done by Randy. We're going to allow me a chance on camera. I wrote a history lesson also featuring the Lions-Chiefs. It'll be the history of their kind of head-to-head matchups over the past 54 years.
Yeah.
Or 53 years? Yeah.
That was your idea. You wanted to do it, and I'm happy to let you do it. So.
Yep, so you better start backlogging your history lessons so we can do one every week now.
Now,
We're taking a little bit of a break.
Yeah, so as far as the picks video, if you participated last year and you want to participate again, send us your picks for week 1. If you didn't get a chance last year and you want to participate this year, do the same thing.
Yep, leave those in the description or in the comments of the picks video on YouTube. That is the best way. That's where we're going to be looking, and we'll take everybody's and talk about you on the next show.
Yep.
When they have to be in by kickoff Thursday night. So we're going to look at that time. If it goes past the time, we get it. It's one game, but we want to try to be fair to everybody who gets their stuff in there on time.
Yep.
So.
And we had a number of people last year. What do you think? 5 or 6 people?
Quite, maybe even more. We even had a couple here and there that were like one and done.
Right, yeah. They come in for a couple of weeks, and we didn't hear from them anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a good time. I think everybody had a good time making their picks and boasting a little bit or whatever.
It's just all in good fun.
It's just fun.
It's all in good fun. It allows us to connect, and I'll give you a little spoiler. I can't tell you how many times in the video that Dad would shake his head at one of the panelists. That's right. We have a third panelist this year.
Yep.
And that third panelist would shake his head at Randy. So, I mean, it's already started.
But, yeah, if you want to participate, go ahead. And as soon as the video comes out, send us your picks in the comments of our picks video for week 1. All right. Let's see. So let's begin today's show, and we're going to start with Adam and the World of Football scoreboard.
That's right. We're going to start things off with the CFL. Yes, I know there is college football, but we're going to get to it, everybody. Just chill. Just settle down over there.
Week 13 up there, man.
It's week 13 in Canada, and
we're invested.
I'm invested in the CFL, and, I'd say it's only going to get bumped next week because of the NFL. We'll start off with the NFL, but right now it might be the last week for the CFL to start the scoreboard, so we're starting there. Yep. All right, and we're starting on Saturday night, which saw the British Columbia Lions defeat the Montreal Alouettes 34-25. Montreal did lead this game 25-24 early in the fourth quarter, but British Columbia scored the final 10 points of the game to get that victory. Alouettes quarterback Vernon Adams completed 21 passes for 306 yards and 3 touchdowns, while also running the ball 8 times for another 54 yards. Wide receiver Alexander Hollins had 5 catches for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then for Montreal, which is also the Alouettes, so unless you got that all backwards. Because you have Montreal, you said the Alouettes quarterback.
It was BC quarterback.
So, okay, so all that, scratch it, that was British Columbia. Randy screwed up the script again.
Sorry.
All right, then for Montreal, quarterback Cody Fajardo completed 22 passes for 308 yards and a touchdown. Running back William Standback ran the ball 8 times for 108 yards and a touchdown, while wide receiver Austin Mack had 7 catches for 143 yards and a touchdown. And I don't want to hear anything in the comments about how we screwed that up and that those weren't Alouettes players. They were British Columbia Lions players. I fixed it. I fixed Randy's mistake, and we're going to move on. Randy, anything from that game?
No.
All right. Then on Sunday, Saskatchewan Roughriders, they went out and defeated in shocking fashion the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 32-30. What a way that game ended. The game was tied 24-24 at the end of regulation. Then in overtime, Saskatchewan scored a touchdown and 2-point conversion. Winnipeg, however, did follow up with a touchdown, but failed the 2-point conversion attempt, therefore giving the victory to the Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan quarterback Jake
Dolagala.
So it is, okay, I feel like I said it wrong every time. Dolagala completed 22 passes for 326 yards, but no touchdowns. He's that super tall quarterback, right?
Yes,
I saw the interview where he was really leaning down to talk to that reporter.
That sideline reporter girl. Yeah, she was so short and he was so tall.
Crack me up. Let's see, where did I leave off? He had 22 passes for 326 yards, no touchdowns. Backup quarterback Antonio Pitkin had 2 rushing touchdowns, and kicker Brett Lather.
I spelled that wrong. It's L-A-U. I forgot the U.
2 mistakes so far, Randy. Brett Lather connected on 5 field goals. The longest was from 53 yards out. For Winnipeg, quarterback Zach Caleros completed 13 passes for 279 yards and 2 touchdowns, while running back Brady Oliveira ran the ball 17 times for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns, while wide receiver Nick Dembski had 5 catches for 118 yards.
Now, you always mess up Brady Oliveira's last name, so I spelled it differently. I spelled it incorrectly so that you would pronounce it correctly.
Man,
and it worked this time.
There you go.
There's an I in there somewhere, and I left it out on purpose because
there you go.
I knew you'd mess it up.
Just put the phonetics in parentheses. I probably get, like I said, I'm Ron Burgundy. I just read what's on the teleprompter. Except what I noticed that you did write, the game was toes 24-24. I was nice and initially just covered your mistake, but now I'm going to call you out on it.
These last 3 games on the schedule, I did them this morning, and I was in a rush. I still had some obituaries to write and some other stuff to look up, so I was in a rush.
Oh man, if I had the time you had to get this done,
yeah,
it probably wouldn't be as bad
or as good,
or it could be worse. Who knows? All right, then of course it was Labor Day weekend, everybody, and the tradition up in Canada is incredible. I love that they do this. So that meant on Monday, Labor Day itself, we had a doubleheader. The first being the Toronto Argonauts against their rivals, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which during that game had a record crowd of 25,318 people in attendance at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. Just fantastic for all those fans to show up to see an absolute beatdown by the Toronto Argonauts, getting that victory 41-28. The Ticats were down 17-4 at halftime. Toronto quarterback Chad Kelly completed 15 passes for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran for an additional touchdown. Running back AJ Ouellette ran the ball 12 times for 79 yards and also threw a 26-yard touchdown pass, his first in the CFL. And then on the Hamilton side of the ball, quarterback Taylor Powell completed 30 passes for 296 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Tim White had 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown, while wide receiver Terry Godwin had 6 catches for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That touchdown pass by the running back, A.J. Ouellette, that was great to see.
Yeah.
But what was even better was they didn't actually show him going to the sidelines, but he must have gone over to the sidelines because he had this like Thor hammer.
Oh, I saw that.
And he ran to the end zone and he used that and he smacked the ground and all the players fell over.
Fantastic.
It was funny. It was creative. And it was a penalty.
Yeah.
they got a 15-yard
Worth
unsportsmanlike
it.
penalty. I think so.
Especially being in Hamilton to do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh, and they showed that so many times. In fact, I even went and got your brother Abram and I said, "You got to come see this," because
Yeah.
I thought the Thor hammer thing was just
Oh, it was
phenomenal.
great. It was great. It needs to make the rounds on the internet if it hasn't
I posted
already.
that on our social media. You can
Yeah.
find it there.
I got to send it to some friends on Instagram. Yeah. All right. Then finally, in the final Monday night game of Labor Day, the Calgary Stampeders got the victory over the Edmonton Elks 35-31. This was also known for us in the States. If you're not aware, this is called the Battle of Alberta. Great name, I think. Edmonton led 28-13 early in the fourth quarter and still led 31-20 just before the 3-minute warning. However, they did lose with 20 seconds to go in the game, which is just soul crushing because we were really pulling for Edmonton here.
This would have been 3 in a row for them.
Would have been 3 in a row for them. They would have been on a hot
so
streak.
Disappointed. They led. I think they led the whole game, but gosh, they had so much control of this game and they let it slip away.
Yeah, Edmonton was outscored in the fourth quarter, 22-3. You just simply cannot do that.
That's been their MO all season long. Was they lost a lot of games, but they started winning a couple of games, and I thought they were going to.
I thought they turned it. I thought they had it. I was looking at them maybe going on a little bit of a streak here.
Yeah.
Ended after 2 games. Calgary quarterback Jake Maier completed 27 passes for 315 yards and no touchdowns, but he did have a rushing touchdown. Kicker Rene Paredes kicked 4 field goals. And then for Edmonton, quarterback Trey Ford, who doesn't seem to be the problem over there with that Edmonton team.
No, he's going to be a good one. They just need to give him some time.
Yeah, 14 passes for 137 yards and a touchdown, but he also ran the ball 11 times for 135 yards. This dude... Man, oh man, he's been fun to watch.
He almost had more rushing yards than passing yards.
That would have been crazy. Just 2 yards short.
I think a couple of those rushes were like 40 yards. I know one was for 40 yards.
That guy, he's going to be something else. When they build a team around him, Edmonton's going to be scared.
Yeah.
Then wide receiver Steven Dunbar had 2 catches for 24 yards and 2 touchdowns. So both his catches were touchdowns.
Got 2 passes. They were both touchdowns.
Yeah, that's got to be a nice day for him. And then kicker Dean Faithful had 3 field goals during the game. So.
I only mentioned that because I thought that name was so cool. We've never mentioned
Faithful?
Dean Faithful. You see him
you
walking off the field.
You better have faith in that kicker.
It's Faithful on the back of his jersey. Oh my God, I had to mention him.
Yeah,
3 field goals is a good outing.
Yeah. And then on by this week, the Ottawa Red Blacks. And then we're going to quickly run through your CFL standings before throwing it over to Randy, who's going to cover the college football scores of the weekend.
So many scores.
But quickly, here are your CFL standings. In the East, the Toronto Argonauts sit at the top with a 9-1 record, followed by the 6-5 Montreal Alouettes, the 4-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the 3-8 Ottawa Red Blacks. In the West, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers still hold that top spot despite losing at 9-3. The British Columbia Lions in second place with an 8-4 record. The Saskatchewan Roughriders at 6-5. The Calgary Stampeders at 4-8, and the Edmonton Elks holding the bottom at 2-10.
Should be 3-9.
Yeah, that's just so unfortunate. But all right, now we're going to throw it over to Randy and some college football scores.
Yeah, we're going to start out with FBS scores. This is week 1, and it's what I'm calling blowout weekend, is because so many of these, top 25 teams, they all played much lower opponents.
Yeah.
So they were beating up on these, FCS teams.
For the most part, yeah.
I mean, not everybody did, but
right.
It all started on Thursday night with Western Michigan against St. Francis of Pennsylvania, which the game we were at. And St. Francis is an FCS school, so yeah, a lower opponent. But we won the game 37-17. What a beautiful night to be at Waldo Stadium here in Kalamazoo.
It was fantastic. Great atmosphere. Western is always, I think, if you have a MAC school in your area or like a level school like that, go out. It's always so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think Western is, every year they've kind of been upgrading the fan experience. I think this year is the first year they sold alcohol at the stadium.
Yep.
Which I was a little surprised by, but clearly it was a big hit. Clearly people drank responsibly. I didn't see any drunkards. I could smell the beer, but it was a good fun atmosphere. I had a lot of fun Thursday night.
Before the game started, we went up to the concourse and I'm looking for a place to get a hot dog and a bottle of water. And the first one I walk up to, I'm looking up at the menu, and it's all booze. There's no food at that one. It's strictly alcohol. And I'm like, oh, this isn't right. And I had to go around the corner to find the food vendor.
Right.
But Yeah, that was a whole new experience, alcohol being sold there. But it was a great time, good game, just a fun night. They had fireworks at halftime. It wasn't quite totally dark yet when they did the fireworks at halftime. There was a
No.
little bit of light. You still, the sun had just gone down, but just a fun night, fun atmosphere. We actually stayed for the whole game.
Yeah.
It wasn't totally a blowout. It was fairly close
St.
for
Francis
most part.
for being such a lower level. I think what they were like 9-3 last year. I guess
I don't remember.
they did pretty well for themselves in the FCS last year, but I thought they had some good talented players. That
Yeah.
quarterback could sling it. They had a couple of wide receivers and running backs that definitely had some speed. That was a little made us nervous at one point, but Western was able to finally put the clamps down. But yeah, overall good night, and
Yeah,
you always want to see your team get the W.
yeah, what were they called? The red flashes.
Yeah, the red
is what they're-
flashes.
And so their helmets, they had black helmets with a red lightning bolt that looked like the San Diego
It was
Chargers.
essentially the old San Diego
Yeah.
Chargers helmet,
Yeah.
but red. Yeah,
But a nice look, a cool look, and Western was all in white, head to toe.
yeah. They
White
wanted it to be the
helmets.
whiteout game.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
and a lot of the student section was in white.
yeah.
But a fun time. So that's how the weekend started. And then on Friday night, Michigan State defeated Central Michigan 31-7. Then we get into some of the Saturday games, and number 1 Georgia defeated UT Martin 48-7. Number 2 Michigan defeated East Carolina 30-3. Number 3 Ohio State defeated Indiana 23-3. Number 4 Alabama over Middle Tennessee State 56-7. Number 6 USC over Nevada 66-14. It was number 13 Notre Dame over Tennessee State 56-3. Number 15 Oregon over Portland State 81-7. It was definitely.
I saw. I had to
weekend.
double take that score.
Yeah. You told me about that. Did you see that? No, it was not when we were at the game. You told me about that.
I told you about
score.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I came by for something else. I said, "Did you see that score? I can't
Yeah.
believe Oregon hung 81."
Yeah, that's 81-7.
I almost
That
thought it
was
was
the score.
fake. Yeah.
Number 16 Kansas State shut out Southeast Missouri State 45-0. But the big upset of the whole weekend, and I watched a little bit of.
Well,
this
you're
game
going
on
from
TV.
blowouts. Now we're going to talk about some upset. Well, an upset.
I was just going through the top 25
Oh,
and
okay.
giving a lot of scores right now. But yeah, the big upset was Colorado upsetting number 17 TCU 45-42. Coach Prime gets his first FBS win, and his son, quarterback Shedeur Sanders, threw for 510 yards, which is a school record, and 4 touchdowns. 4 players, I don't know, they're all receivers or maybe running back, had over 100 yards receiving in the game. The Buffaloes snapped a 9-game winning streak for TCU against Pac-12 opponents dating back to 2003. And Colorado entered the game as a 20-point underdog. Did you say
Yeah.
that was the first time in 20
it's
years?
since like 1997, no team that was a 20-point underdog in the opening game won a game, and this is it. Look,
They looked awesome.
They looked great. I mean, they played a really competitive game against the team that was in the national championship
Yes.
last year.
Yes.
They were the runner-up.
Yeah.
And and I think they came out with a poll today, and I think or today or yesterday, I didn't see when, but apparently Colorado is now ranked. They moved them up to 22, I believe.
I did not look into that.
Yeah.
I know it was coming out. I think it was coming out today.
Maybe it did, but I think so. They're at least, I think, at 22 now. Don't hold me to that. As far as I know, that's what I heard when I was driving in. But no, like I figured, I didn't think that they would be the greatest team on the planet, Colorado. But I did think with Prime going there, Deion Sanders, with that infusion of portal players they were getting from other universities, and maybe his son, coming over. I was like, okay, they'll probably be decent. They'll probably, maybe at the least make a bowl game. They'll probably have a great, like, what do they play, like 12 games? Like maybe they'll be 9-3 or something like that. That's kind of what I was thinking maybe they'd be. And come out with this big win, I'll admit, I think Deion deserves, a little bit of like the I told you so with everybody, but at the same time, just reel it in a little bit, Deion. Like, you still got some games to go. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I do think they're going to be better than people thought. I've been thinking that since he went there and those players started transferring. I started changing my tune from, well, I don't know how good they'll be with him as the coach, but when I saw all the players flocking there, that's when I figured this might be a special situation.
Well, didn't he get rid of just about everybody that was on the team from last year?
I don't remember if he got rid of
I
everybody.
think it's pretty darn near everybody. And well, when you go 1-15, don't you kind of clean house when you go somewhere?
Well, when you in college, that's hard to do with
Well,
kids. But he did tell him like if if you don't like the way I'm going to run things, in his opening thing with the players, transfer now. Like there you go. That's how it's going to be. But look, I would have said nepotism with the starting quarterback. Shoot, the kid put up 501 yards.
you can't argue with that.
I'm not going to say nepotism now because he's a great quarterback, and he clearly must have been that good to beat out whoever else was at Colorado.
Well, he coached his son at
did.
Jackson State, and they had a good record.
They had a good record, but that's Jackson State and that level of college football. I wasn't sure how that would translate up, to the essentially the top tier of the college football landscape. Yeah. But look, I'm flabbergasted. I'm impressed, and as much as I didn't like Deion as a player, as a coach, I respect the heck out of him. Mm-hmm. I respect what he's been doing with from Jackson State now to Colorado. I respect what he's doing out there. Mm-hmm. The only thing that bugged me was his thing about being mad that his players didn't get in a fight or help out.
That thing.
That's the only thing so far that I've been like, come on, Deion.
That was a week or two ago.
Yeah. But other than that, congratulations, Colorado, and they're going to be the team to watch now in college football.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be tuning in.
They're not going to be sneaking up on anybody now. Everybody knows that they've got a decent team.
They can't take them lightly.
Yep. All right, continuing with our blowout weekend scoreboard. Number 20 Oklahoma shut out Arkansas State 73-0. Number 22 Ole Miss over Mercer. That should have been a mercy rule against them. 73-7. Auburn over Massachusetts 59-14. Cincinnati over Eastern Kentucky 66-13. Syracuse shut out little old Colgate 65-0. And then one score from Sunday, number 8 Florida State upset number 5 LSU 45-24. And people are saying that LSU is maybe not the team they thought they were going to be this year.
Even the head coach said that
based on this score.
Yeah,
I don't know, but and the last score from the FBS last night, Monday night, Duke upset number 9 Clemson 28-7. I saw
building.
I saw just a little bit of that game on TV, and it was like I don't know if it was after halftime, but they were up quite a bit on them already, and I'm like, Duke is upsetting a ranked team.
That's absolutely crazy. And then I think Clemson's dropped from 9 to 25 in the poll now. So
they lose another one, they'll be out next week.
Oh boy! I mean, I already saw a thing after they lost last night. Somebody posted that the Clemson Tigers have been eliminated from the college football playoff after one game. That's the crazy. That's why people love college football. That is the fun and exciting thing about college football is that element of chaos that I love.
You love chaos.
One weekend, Clemson, that loss. See ya, playoff hopes. Week 1, it's all gone.
Yeah,
it's up in flames.
That's basically it. So many of these teams, they have undefeated records at the end of the season, and those are the ones that get the playoffs.
That's why they play cupcakes to start the year.
Yeah,
not I mean, but it's the landscape's starting to change enough to where that's going to change. It won't be cupcakes week 1. I think now it'll be we're just getting straight into these mega conferences, playing each of the other mega conferences, and we'll be there soon. The amateur professional collegiate association or whatever they're going to be called in the next 5 years.
They're talking. I heard somebody talking about this on Sports Talk when I was driving around today, and I believe it. I just hadn't put it in this sort of context before, but this is the last year that football is going to look like what we've known for so many years with the conferences and everything. Yeah. And next year, you're not going to recognize college football anymore. It's just going to be.
It's going to be what it's going to.
The super conferences and people.
Even that's not going to be its final form. I think there's going to be one more jump in.
But it's going to be a massive change next year over what we've known all these years. The Pac-12 will be gone probably. All these super conferences coming in. Schools are going to be flying from coast to coast for games now because they're part of a conference that it's going from coast to coast. It's not, the Big Ten was up north, the Pac-12 was out west, and all that. It's they're nationwide conferences now. They're not regional.
That's why it's going to keep shifting. I think it's going to revert back to, some sort of divisional alignments, and
I don't know.
it's going to be weird. Yep, it's
Uh,
the change starts now.
Everybody's chasing that almighty dollar for this the playoffs, and is it next year that the playoffs start?
The 12
12
team
team? I think it is next year.
next year. Yep.
Yeah. So watch out next year. Oh my gosh, it's going to be hard to follow. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep a handle on it. I don't know.
Now we
We'll
got
see.
time to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. As usual, I'll just wait till the last minute and try to throw something together.
Yep.
Let's see. The military academies: Air Force over Robert Morris, 42-7, and the University of Louisiana Monroe over Army, 17-13. Navy was off this week. They played in Dublin, Ireland last week against Notre Dame and got their butts handed to them, so they could probably use a week off. All right, FCS scores. Now from here, all these different lower levels, it's all 3 random scores that I just picked out for no reason other than maybe the score or the school name. So FCS scores: Hampton over Grambling, 35-31. North Dakota over Drake, 55-7, and Houston Christian shut out Arkansas Baptist, 66-0. Division II scores: Frostburg State over New Haven, 27-24 in overtime. Samford over Shorter, 69-14. And Pittsburgh State, the Gorillas, I love that logo, over Washburn, 34-7. In Division III scores: Wisconsin Platteville over Lakeland, 80-13. Lindenwood over Wisconsin Stevens Point, 77-9. And Trine shut out Anderson of Indiana, 61-0. You believe me now that this was blowout weekend?
Yeah, and I see some scores about to show up.
We'll get down to the NAIA scores. You had Georgetown of Kentucky shutting out Kentucky Christian, 76-0. Penn State of Iowa over Missouri Baptist, 6-2, which I thought that's a baseball score.
Is it Penn State?
62.
I thought it was William Penn. That's what you got written down.
Did I say Penn State?
Yep.
William Penn. I'm sorry. William Penn of Iowa over Missouri Baptist, 6-2. University of Texas Permian Basin shut out Texas College, 96-0.
Oof.
Isn't there some sort of a mercy rule in these things? I mean,
Probably
there is in
not.
high school football. They should have something in college too. I mean, come on. The National Junior College Athletic Association, there were no scores. There might have been one, but I don't know if they had a score. They had one game. Maybe it was canceled, but I won't have any scores on that until next week. But going up to Canada, U Sports, which is their division of the NCAA up there, it was Montreal over Concordia, 43-12. Alberta over Calgary, 33-9. And the University of British Columbia over Regina, 25-10. And finally, up in Canada, Canadian Junior College football, the Hamilton Hurricanes shut out the Greater Toronto Area Grizzlies, 56-0. West Shore Rebels over the Langley Rams, 28-21. And the St. Clair Saints over the London Beefeaters, 40-36. Earlier today, I was reading that Langley Rams score to myself, and I kept going, Langley Falls Bazooka Sharks.
Oh.
So I said, I better catch myself when I read that later. And that is it for this week's World of Football scoreboard. More next week. We'll try and fit in as many scores as we can. We'll see. Hopefully, we won't have so many blowouts next week, and we'll get some real football between evenly matched teams.
Yeah.
All right, in NFL news, Hard Knocks, episode 4 last week. This was the first time that I noticed them actually focusing on other players on the team other than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, up until now, it's been an Aaron Rodgers love fest, but they finally did what they've done in the past, which is what I come to expect when you watch Hard Knocks, and that's focus on some of these unknown players, the linemen, the rookies, the free agents. Tell their story. How did they come to be here? And some of them have some pretty compelling stories to tell, and they finally focused on those guys this past episode, and it was great to see. And then of course they still had Rodgers at the end because he played in the preseason game, but it was nice for them to focus on other people. And I came to the realization that as I'm watching Rodgers on the screen, he's very aware of where the camera is at all times.
Of course.
And he's mugging for the camera. He's looking around, and when
He's loving this.
He's got these lines, these quips and things that he says. I think he's practiced them and had them written down. It's not off the cuff. He's playing up to the camera. I hate it, but But luckily, there's only one more episode, and that is tonight. The
Yeah.
season finale is at 10 o'clock tonight. So I don't know if I'll watch it tonight, and maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. But they already had one thing leak out where they brought one guy into the coach's office, and they made it sound like they were going to cut him. But in the end, they said, "Welcome to the team," and he's like, "Oh my God, you guys had me going."
Yeah, they did have one cut at the end of the last episode, which is the guy who did the Eminem rap.
Yes.
They showed it. They didn't show him getting cut, but they showed him coming into the facility, doing that whole walk of shame kind of thing.
Walking out with a team,
Yeah.
clean out your locker and
Yeah, so that was kind of a bummer way to end the episode. But again, that's what.
He's the guy that was
happens.
juggling too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like doing juggling and stuff. But so he was like a guy that kind of focused on for a couple episodes. I'm still a fan. The best part of this season of Hard Knocks with the Jets has been the defensive line for the Jets.
Oh yeah,
all those defensive players. Quinnen Williams is one of my favorite players now because of every year there's always like one guy for a team. I'm just like I love this dude. There's that guy with Tampa Bay. I can't remember his name at the top of my head. When Tampa Bay was on, there was the coach from the Browns season. The guy with the big gut.
right.
And I'm sure every year there's always like one Darren Waller, I think, from the Raiders season. And every year there's always like one player, and Quinnen Williams is that dude. I love this dude. He is a monster on the defensive line. I would not want to go up against him. But everything with that defense, because they got together and they did their charcuterie board dinner, and one guy was making like a shrimp gumbo kind of thing. So it was cool that all like the defensive guys like kind of got together and did something. I liked seeing that. It was like just at some dude's apartment with his wife and kid, and then 5 or 6 other big beefy linemen just
waiting for the food to get ready.
And the one guy getting the charcuterie board put together, and he's all being delicate. So it's funny seeing a football player putting that together.
Making a rose out of meat slices.
The meat rose. That was a good bit. I love that. You just see this big, humongous defensive player just hunched over a little piece of wood, playing dainty little meat. Like it was just, it cracked me up. I thought it was great. He even got the T-shirts made about the charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, however that got.
That was like a knee slapper for me. I was like slapping my knee, laughing the whole time. That was great.
Well, it's great to see these, these units of guys get together and become, good friends and teammates. That's how you play better from the guy.
What did you think about the bit with the chain link? Did you think that was a little over the top? I was like, would Dan Campbell do something like this?
I don't know about that. It was a little bit hokey, but I mean, if it works, it works. I understand what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
The
metaphor was
you don't want to be the weakest link.
Yeah. But I was like, that's a little cheesy. But I was like, I mean, if they buy into it, then clearly they're doing something, because that's the best unit on that Jets team, in my opinion, is that defensive line. I mean, while they got talent all over the place, but I think that defensive line is legit. So whatever they're doing, keep doing it.
Yep. But
I don't know. Yeah, with Rodgers, as much as I hate him, boy, does he make for good television. I know you hate that, but he does. The smugness or whatever, it kind of cracks me up. I'm just like, I can't tell if this dude's fake or if this is really him. I don't know.
Well, it's like with Howard Stern. People listen to him because they love him, and people listen to him because they hated him.
Yeah, it's like Colin Cowherd.
So yeah, he's going to get both sides.
But yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. I'm curious how this finale goes, but I mean, you're not the only one that hates Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm handing you the segue. I'm handing you the segue. Run with the ball, Randy.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing?
I'm not the only one that hates the Jets, but there's a bar in Milwaukee.
The worst handoff of all time.
There's a bar in Milwaukee that will give out free drinks whenever Aaron Rodgers and the Jets lose a game. Now, I've heard it both ways. I heard that if you've been drinking there all night, they're gonna pay for your whole tab, whatever you've run up that night. And then I heard it another way where somebody said that they're gonna give out free drinks, after they lose. So the drinks are on the house after that.
They could do both.
So I don't know if it'll go both ways, but it just seems like. It's like the whole LeBron James thing in Cleveland.
Yeah.
As soon as he's gone, everybody hates his guts and they're burning his jerseys in the street. But if he were ever to come back, they would accept him back with open arms.
That's sports.
So this is the thing right now is and this bar is getting some attention. I don't have the name of the bar in front of me, but shouldn't be too hard to find if you're in Milwaukee.
Right. Hey, if you love your beer and you want to gamble getting free drinks, just sit there all night and be like, "Come on, lose," and you rack up a $200 tab, and he
good.
wins.
It's good marketing because now they're going to get people coming into the bar to watch the game and drink a lot and
Yeah.
hope that they lose. Betting on the fact that if they lose, I don't have to pay for this.
Yeah.
So I just had a whole night of drinking tonight. So
Yeah.
that'll be good for their business, I'm
Oh, I'm
sure.
sure. Everybody likes a promotion like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Forbes has come out with their list of the most valuable franchises, which they do every year. And for the 13th year in a row, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Shocker.
No surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a winner, obviously, to get on this list or top this list because they haven't won anything in those 13 years, but people still love them. Let's see. They are now valued at $9 billion with a B dollars.
Jeez.
In second place is the New England Patriots at $7 billion. Third place is the Los Angeles Rams at $6.9 billion. Number 4 is the New York Giants at $6.8 billion. And at number 5, it's the Chicago Bears at $6.3 billion. I don't have the full list in front of me, but I posted this article on our social media. And within the article, there's a link to the complete list if you really want to look at all of them.
I mean, usually we just got such a jam-packed show. I mean, there's no sense just going through the whole list.
Well, I've got just a few others here. Like the Washington Commanders are at number 8, and $6.05 billion. And I think that's just because the team was sold. And so, they're up there.
I think it was even before they got sold that was like that.
And the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs are at number 23 on this list, valued at $4.3 billion. So, here you got Super Bowl champions at number 23, won 2 out of the last, 4 Super Bowls. And then you've got the number 1 team, the Dallas Cowboys, that haven't won anything in over 20 years.
I mean, you're looking at what, like just a little over 2.2 bill, difference between the number 8 and number 23. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just somebody's got to be in last place, and somebody's got to be in first place. It's all billionaires making more money.
Right.
Like, it's all that is. So,
and the bottom 2 on that list, the Detroit Lions at number 31, $3.6 billion.
Not shocked.
And in last place, the Cincinnati Bengals, who've been so close to a Super Bowl the last couple of years, they're in last place at $3.5 billion. So it doesn't matter how valuable your franchise is, you can still, play for a championship.
Right.
So like I said, if you want to check out the complete list, all 32 teams, go to the article that I posted on social media about this, and there's a link in there to the complete list. All right, the MANNINGCAST is adding a third member to the crew this season. Who's it going to be? We don't know, but they posted a pretty funny video you showed me a little while ago.
Yeah.
Some of the people who were auditioning for it.
Auditioning in quotes.
Auditioning in air quotes. It was pretty funny.
It was great. I mean, I was surprised to see Jared Goff lead that whole thing off.
Dan Campbell was
made an appearance. Pat McAfee makes an appearance.
Yep. Reese Witherspoon, the actress,
does. Tom Brady has a great bit at the end.
Yep.
I was almost going to think, once he popped up, I was like, oh my God, did they get Tom Brady? That would make sense. I mean...
Yeah, he needs work now.
He needs work. But I don't know who the third would be. Do you have a guess? My guess is, would it be Archie? Would they just get their dad to come on?
I don't think so.
Would they copy the World of Football format where it's fathers and son?
I don't think they'd get Marshawn Lynch, even though they like him.
Oh, man, I love Marshawn.
They would have to bleep out so much.
You would have to have whoever's there censoring it like right away. You'd have to have like the quickest button pusher in the world.
So I really don't know. I'm curious to see who it's
I will be over the moon if they just finally... Because, I mean, ESPN's been making some interesting moves between adding the Pat McAfee show, which is known for...
Has that started yet on ESPN?
It starts on the 7th. I believe on Thursday that starts up on ESPN.
Okay. I thought it was the first of the month. But...
Yeah. So ESPN's now got a whole, the new philosophy. They want to get into this kind of new era of sports broadcast. So, I mean, I know Pat McAfee said they're allowed to still do what they do. They just have to swear less and definitely not drop the F-bomb. But if they let that on the air during the day, why can't you just let Peyton and Eli just curse it up on a late night broadcast?
I can't see Peyton and Eli swearing up a storm.
Well, hold on. That's
not their style.
The great blooper of Peyton Manning cussing when he didn't know his microphone was hot was great.
Well, and Eli gave the double finger.
The double bird, yep. Great, fantastic. Marshawn dropped a lot of F-bombs. Like, let's just... Can we just get over that faux pas of, like, no swearing on television? I get the FCC's got some rules, but, like, come on. Come on, it's entertaining.
You're going to be raising a bunch of little kids that are swearing up a
What are
storm.
we else? Hold on, have you seen
You don't
some of the
want
parents
that.
out there? They're letting them watch
Oh yeah,
they're
that's what
letting
I'm
them watch
saying. It's
Game of
terrible.
Thrones
It's
and
wrong, and it shouldn't be happening. So let's
don't
keep
tell me how to parent.
let's keep the airwaves nice and clean.
Who do you think you are, my father?
I had a test done. I know it's true. All right, let's move on to another story here.
What story is that?
Travis KELCE, defensive end for Kansas City Chiefs, hyperextends his knee during practice today.
Yeah, this is like breaking, like right before we kind of came on air. Yeah.
As of now, his status for Thursday night's game against the Lions is uncertain.
Yeah, shocker. I mean, sucks for my fantasy team because I took him number 1 overall.
Oh, fantasy football. Here we go.
But
another season of eye rolling from me.
But good news for the Lions? Question mark.
Yeah, anything's good news. Yeah, I'll take that.
I mean, the question is now who is Patrick Mahomes going to throw to? Because now he's going to have a different it guy.
Next up, that's all it is.
The next up mentality.
I'm sure they'll find a new guy to.
It is a bit of a bummer. I was kind of. I mean, you want to see your teams go at full strength and beat Travis Kelce. I wanted to see the Lions, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, like stopping KELCE and jawing a little bit. Because that's be some great smack talk between those two. But I'm bummed. Travis KELCE's the best tight end in the game. He's entertaining. I think he's a great player. Dude's been around for a long time. But you hate to see that. There's such a good, talented guy, and especially when you draft him number 4 overall in your fantasy league, it hurts. It hurts.
See football. Slowly I turned, inch by inch, step by step. Hopefully some people will get that reference. All right, let's move on to some college news. ESPN and something called the Sports Theater Network are teaming up to show 75 college football games live in theaters this season. I guess, excuse me.
Excuse you.
I guess last year they were with Cinemark Theaters. And that was just like for playoff games and the championship game, but it wasn't the whole season. Well, now they have a whole plethora of theaters that are part of the Sports Theater Network, and that's what they're teaming up with now. This is going to include the 6 bowl games that are played on New Year's Day, which include the Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Fiesta Bowl, as well as the National Championship game shown in theaters. Games will be shown at more than 500 local theaters across the U.S. and Canada. Would you go watch a game on a theater screen? I mean, you love your movies.
If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said, heck yes, I'd go to a movie theater to watch a football game, but my answer right now is going to be no, because I have a glorious 75-inch HD 4K TV mounted on my apartment wall that my brother-in-law came and helped me hang up this past weekend. So, as my sister said as we hung that behemoth on the wall, geez, it's like you're practically at the movie theater watching this thing, and so I don't need to go nowhere. But I think between and I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here somewhere, but like between did you hear the news about how they're putting the Taylor Swift concert in theaters? How that's blowing up. This is the kind of stuff I dig. Like you can mix music and the movie theater experience, and people are those Taylor Swift things are already selling out.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be an event. With sports, I get it. You're gonna go to the bar. You're gonna go to a buddy's house who's got a big 75-inch TV. What up? That's me now. Or there's going to be options. And I think, sports fans especially like to have options. I think there will be some people who will be like, I can go to a movie theater on that big old screen.
Yeah, it's because people have, a little black and white TV on
maybe some, but I just think it gives you a different experience. It's going to be you and a bunch of other fans just sitting in a room. It's almost kind of like a stadium experience, but it's almost, it's a mix of the stadium / home experience. People are going to be loud, cheering. It's going to be more interactive. Right. I think that would add to that experience for some people. I'd be curious if they did that around here, and they might have in the past, but we've always had plans.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I almost want to go check one out just to see what it was like. It didn't even have to be 2 teams I cared about. It could be a Sugar Bowl between Penn State and LSU, 2 teams I could give 2 craps about, but maybe that'd be the game I'd be like, I'd go check that out in a theater just to see what's that experience like. I might be the only one there, because in Michigan, I think it would also depend on the region too and what teams are playing.
Well, I don't know if I would or not. I like to. I'm not a big fan of crowds anymore. I don't like the crowds. I mean, I like going to the movie theater if it's not real crowded and watching a movie and really enjoy that. But to watch a football game, I would just as soon do it at home, in the privacy of my own home, with my chair and my drink, and just watching it at
Your
home.
dog's on your lap.
Yep. But if I were to do something like that in a theater, it would have to be a couple of teams that I didn't give a crap about.
Yeah.
But like if they put, like, say, the Harvard Yale game, if that came out to a theater, I mean, even though I could watch it at
You'd be
home,
the only one.
I would think about going to see like Harvard Yale or um, what's the USC and UCLA
Ooh, that one would be
with
good.
their home uniforms.
Some big rivalry games would be great.
With
Like
those uniforms, that would be so gorgeous
you
on
put a
an IMAX
You
screen.
put a Michigan versus Ohio State in a theater though, that might pop. Or Auburn and Alabama,
Yeah.
that would pop. Some of these other big college rivalries would probably be a lot of fun to do, like in a movie theater. Because if you're not invested in either of those teams, you just go into a bunch of people smack talking in the room.
Right.
Maybe a couple people get drunk enough to start a fight. Who knows what you're going to see? But I just think it depends on your mentality too. Like you, I get it. I would never see doing that except for if you saw it wasn't sold out. But I think there are some sports fans who like I have to be around people. Like I can't afford to go to the stadium every week, but I want to be around more people. So either they go to the bar to be around people or they go to somebody's house to be around people. I'm sure there'll be a handful of people who would be like, "Oh, totally, I'd go sit and watch it at a movie theater with a bunch of other people."
Well, what happens when a bunch of drunken fans from the two teams on the movie screen get into a fight in the theater? Who's going to break that up? And are they going to cancel this whole thing after something like
Well,
that
that's when
happens?
the usher comes in and goes, "Boys, boys, boys,
Got that little
settle
flashlight.
settle down, go buy some more concessions, sober up,
Yeah.
and come back."
Go get another beer.
No, you don't tell me to get beer.
Here's some free drink
No,
coupons.
no. If they're already drunk, you get them back to the concession to get the priced up M&Ms and maybe some of the overpriced food they start selling.
No,
at
that's
these
where the cops
theater
are
now.
waiting, is out by the by the drink machine.
Maybe.
The usher just goes, "This guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're under arrest. Let's go to the drunk tank.
Yeah, but I think it's just adds to the buffet, as we like to say at the end, the glorious buffet that is the world of football. You have a glorious buffet of viewing options as a sports and especially a football fan, because it is America's pastime. Suck it, baseball.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I would or not. It'd have to be a certain circumstance, certain game. I don't know.
I don't
And
blame you.
it'd be interesting to see if they actually have something around here, whether it's Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids,
I
Lansing.
mean, we in our neck of the woods. I mean, I think like a lot of those big theater chains like Cinemark and AMC now. We used to have an AMC in Kalamazoo. Now I think it's more over by Detroit. We have in Michigan, at least for those of you not in Michigan, we have a chain of theaters called Celebration Cinema, which is mainly in Michigan and Midwest kind of thing. But I'm subscribed to that. I pay a monthly like subscription to go see, like I get 3 movies a week.
Mhm.
I pay $20 a month, and if I think they've done sporting events before, they might have done like some of the UFC fights, some of those like
Maybe.
pay-per-view stuff.
Maybe, I don't know.
They'll do like special fathom events, so they'll find ways to sneak stuff in, just like how next weekend, not this upcoming weekend, they're doing a re-release of the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm gonna go see that in the movie theater next weekend. So
Well, the whole sports theater network, I know nothing about them. So if you're interested in something like this, you might want to Google that.
yeah, Google it. See if
Find
it's
out what
playing in a theater
theaters,
near you.
what are these 500 theaters, what states, what theaters and what states participate in the sports theater network. See if there's one near you. And
Shoot, take a video and send it to us. I'd love to see that. How your experience was.
I would be interested to
We
see.
could totally film an experience doing that.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Today's birthdays for September 5th. Quarterback Billy Kilmer turns 84 years old today. He played his college football at UCLA, and he was the 11th overall pick in the 1961 NFL draft by the San Francisco 49ers. He was also selected in the 5th round of the 1961 American Football League draft by the San Diego Chargers. He played 16 seasons in the NFL. He signed with the 49ers and played there from 1961 to 1966, but he missed the 1963 season due to a leg injury. He then played for the New Orleans Saints from 1966 to 1970, but he is best known as the quarterback of the Washington Redskins from 1971 to 1978. We do have a couple of obituaries this week. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. And the first one is a big one. Gil Brandt, a former executive in the NFL, has passed away at the age of 91. Brandt started out as a part-time player scout for the Los Angeles Rams in the 1950s, and he was a full-time scout for the San Francisco 49ers in 1958. He joined the expansion Dallas Cowboys in 1960 and was the first person to use computers to track information on prospective players. He also was the first to use psychological tests to identify the mental and personality makeup of prospective players and succeeded in finding undrafted free agents as well as a number of top small college players. So I mean, this guy was like a true innovator. He took scouting to a whole new level. You know, used these newfangled computers to put all this information in and probably spit it out in a spreadsheet so you compare this guy with that guy and all your ratings and stuff like that. It's, everybody does that today, but back in the day, it all started with Gil Brandt, and he was the one that had the idea for that. He helped create the NFL Scouting Combine as a way to centralize the scouting evaluation process. Brandt helped shape the Cowboys into a team that had 20 consecutive winning seasons between 1966 and 1985, appearing in 5 Super Bowls and winning 2 of them. He went on to go. He went on. I'm sorry. Let me start over again. He was the vice president of player personnel for the Cowboys when he was let go by new team owner Jerry Jones in 1989. He went on to work for Sirius XM Radio for over 20 years, and they were talking quite a bit. I was listening to Sirius XM in the car the other day, and they just talked about what a great friend he was to Sirius XM when they first started, broadcasting, and worked for him for 20 years, and everybody had nothing but great things to say about him. Gil Brandt was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a builder in 2019. So, yeah, big name passed away the other day.
Yeah. All right. The next obituary is that of Paul Roach, an assistant coach in college and in the NFL, has passed away at the age of 95. Roach coached.
That was a little weird when I wrote
it.
Because when I was in the military, they had this vehicle that went around and sold sandwiches and pop and stuff, and we called it the Roach Coach. So when I wrote Roach coached this or that, I had to smile.
Roach coached in the NFL for the Oakland Raiders in 1974, the Green Bay Packers from 1975 to 1976, and the Denver Broncos from 1977 to 1980. He went on to be an assistant coach in college at Wyoming from 1987 to 1990 and was named Western Athletic Conference Coach of the Year twice. He was inducted into the Wyoming Athletics Hall of Fame in 1999.
Our final obituary this week is that of Ed Meter, a defensive back in the NFL for 12 seasons. He's passed away at the age of 86. Meter played college football at Arkansas Tech and was selected in the 7th round of the 1959 NFL Draft by the Los Angeles Rams. He played his entire career with the Rams from 1959 to 1970 and was named the Rams' Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1959. He still holds the Rams' record for interceptions with 46, the most opponent fumbles recovered at 18, and the most blocked the most kicks in team history with 10. Meter was voted the Rams' Defensive Back of the Year 7 times.
Wow.
So that's it for obituaries this week. Upcoming events, I've got a whole slew of them, but only one matters, and that's all I'm going to talk about this week, and that is this Thursday, 2 days from now. The NFL regular season begins with the Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, oh man, what a night that's going to be.
Can't wait.
I'm going to have my Mountain Dew all ready to go to keep me awake for the game. I get
as long as the Lions play well enough.
Sit there and enjoy the evening.
As long as the Lions play well enough to keep you awake and it's not a snooze fest and the Chiefs blowing them out. But
well, if they win, I'm going to have to be watching all the post-game ESPN shows, and until they go off the air at 2 a.m. or whatever, I'm going to be watching all that.
And if they lose, it'll be avoiding it all weekend.
Click, and it's time to go to bed.
Catch you next weekend.
But no, it should be a great game.
I hope so.
A great way to start the season. We'll see what both of these teams are made of right off the bat.
This will be the biggest stage people see the Lions on, besides the Thanksgiving game, and boy, feels good to be
Yeah.
the team to lead off.
It does. It does. Because
It's exciting.
I got a lot of friends in the Pro Football Researchers Association, and a lot of them are not from Michigan, so they're Bills fans, they're Giants fans, they're
Right.
Steelers fans, everybody
I had a
else.
couple Packer fans in there
Yeah,
too.
but it's nice for people to see our team finally and say, hey, you know what? They're not too bad. They've got such a bad reputation, and a lot of people don't see them throughout the course of the year because they don't have any
Right.
national televised games until like Thanksgiving and maybe late in the season. But now they're starting out the season, so they get to see what we saw last
Right.
year, and hopefully
And-
they see that team that won 8 of their last 10 games on the field this
And
time.
football fever is it's such a high pitch nowadays that first game people have been fiending for actual NFL football, and to have that be the first game that matters.
Mhm.
Oh man, I can't wait to see what kind of ratings this game
Yeah.
pulls.
Yeah,
So
very interesting. All right, anything else before we call this show?
I don't think there have been any developments or updates. I'm just checking the notifications as of right now. I think we are good.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast,
I
probably
highly
not.
doubt it.
About the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. Our email address, if you want to email us, is info@theworldoffootball.com.
You can also like the World of Football on Facebook at TWOF Kalamazoo. You can also follow our X account. The address is at TWOF Kalamazoo. Also find us on Instagram at that same handle, TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football to hear us on whatever Alexa devices you may have. You can also find the full audio version of this show on YouTube. Just search the YouTube search bar for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle youtube.com/at the World of Football. Please spread the word and subscribe, rate, review, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation.
And don't forget, we've got our picks video coming up if you want to get involved in that.
I think we're going to have 3 videos dropped tomorrow.
Oh, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Picks video. We're going to have a history lesson.
Yep.
Maybe go up sometime tomorrow. Definitely at least before the Thursday night game. So be on the lookout. It just depends on my schedule too. I'm yeah. Should be good though.
And you're just lying around.
Just lying around will be recorded Wednesday evening.
Okay.
So that should either go up Wednesday evening, Thursday morning before. Again, try to get all this up before the Lions Chiefs game.
Right. Yeah.
So and then I'm going to be gone all week.
Yeah,
so.
You're going to be. What are you leaving Thursday morning?
Thursday morning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to be gone until Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. Who knows what? Like, normally, on this trip, I go to the music festival, and I have to rush back Sunday because I want to watch the Lions game.
Right. Not the case this year.
Not this year. This year, I'll be in a cornfield watching the game on Thursday night on my phone or trying to. I'm really hoping it pans out because I don't want to be that guy fiending for like, hey, anybody know the Lions score? I can't get signal. I don't want to be that guy.
Speaking of that cornfield, did we tell people about our first ever commercial that we made? Gridiron of Dreams.
We talked about it last week. But
if you want to, let's talk about it again.
Do it.
Gridiron of Dreams. We filmed our own little commercial advertising all of our podcasts and website and everything. It's reminiscent of a Field of Dreams, but it's Gridiron of Dreams. It's only a minute long. It's real quick, but it's out there on our social media, so check that out and let us know what you think about that.
Proud of it, everybody.
Got some other ideas for a few more. So
my God,
we'll see.
We'll do them next year. I held off on that
Blues Brothers
one.
thing,
You really want to do that Blues Brothers bit? Oh my God!
You said the same thing about Gridiron of Dreams last year. I'll wear you down until you finally say, "Okay, let's go do it."
Yes, we both do that. I have to wear you down to start a podcast. You have to wear me down to do some of these videos.
That's the way it goes.
Uh-huh.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting right here in Kalamazoo.
Two Gus?
Yeah.
Two of Gus?
Until next time, when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. I'm Randy Snow.
Oh, I thought we were both Gus.
No.
No? Okay.
We'll see you all next week.